It's showtime. I said it's showtime. D&B post show stream starts now.
It's your boy Concert Viz 34 back at home.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34.
Yep, so your boy Concert Viz 34 coming to you here.
What up? What up? It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Aria. Okay, so this is Aria, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and about your love for the Dave Matthews Band.
I've been a fan of the band since April 28, 1998, and if you recognize the date, that's when Before These Crowded Streets was released.
Alpine is definitely a better venue than Summerfest, but we'll take it. I think I've been going to shows for about 20-something years.
I always tell people, like, compare DMB to now to when I first started, and I got started, in my opinion, I feel like I got started late. Like, I was at the very end of the band's prime. I feel like that 03 to 06 was like the end of the prime. 07, 08 was like, you know, we're at the very end, and then when Roy passed.
But Dave really, this is the thing, Dave has put, Rashawn has been assigned the quarterback of this team. He is the coach, the play caller. He designs the jams. Dave just shows up and plays whatever he's going to play. Southern California, what up? Chula, Vista, what up? San Diego, what up? Carlsbad, California, the birthplace of Tony Hawk, what up? Oceanside, what up? San Marcos, what up? Temecula, San Clemente, what up? It's your boy Conserviz 34. Welcome to the DMB Post Show stream. Glad you guys could join me. We're going to take a look at the show. Now, I always say this is the last, it could be, we'll see what happens with the fall tour. This is definitely the last summer tour Friday show we're going to have all year. I am going to miss these shows on Fridays, and SiriusXM does a great job, and it's just so sad that we're coming to the end of the road. It's unnatural. I belong to you. You belong to me. Sirius XM to the end. All right, let me stop. Let me stop. Anyway, I just love listening to the audio, and the crew at SiriusXM has drastically improved the, the audio quality for the Dave Matthews Band live streams on Fridays. And some of that really impacts to me how you feel about a show from home. When you have great audio, it changes the entire dynamic of the show. And this is why sometimes where you are at a concert can impact. And obviously, in the pit, the sound doesn't matter as much in the pit because you're right there. But sometimes being dead center by the soundboard will impact how you feel about a show. So when we look at how people react to shows, how people rate shows, where you are is incredibly important. How the audio is that day, the weather, all these things matter. I mean, we saw last Friday a show that was great, but at the same time, it was cold and rainy. So what the band was going to play, what they could execute for a cold and rainy night is going to be different than a 75-degree night versus a 102-degree night if you're in Arizona and you're still waiting for that desert to cool off this time of year where it still stays hot. I listened to this show front to back on SiriusXM. I am hoping, I don't know if we're going to be able to have a guest. And this is kind of one of the blind spots in the tour. But the good thing is this was on SiriusXM, so at least we can have some reaction how it sounds. And if you don't have SiriusXM, again, they're not telling me to say this. The DMB radio live streams alone are worth it to me for $9.99 a month. You could also cancel it if you wanted to out of season. But just having that, having the replay, having access to all the recordings each summer on the app, I love the SiriusXM editions. We went from really no streams consistently. You had some YouTube streams here or there to now every Friday show is a lock for this band, which is awesome. Let's take a look at the set list. Now, a couple of things I noticed about this set list. Obviously, the only Before These Crowded Streets songs was the last song. I put a tweet up, if you guys were on Twitter. I said, hey, they gotta end with Before These Crowded Streets. When Pay for What You Get was started, I was like, they gotta have something from Before These Crowded Streets. I was thinking more along the lines of Don't Drink the Water, perhaps a Halloween, perhaps a P&P to Rapunzel, although they've been kind of playing that a lot recently. And they come with Stay. So Before These Crowded Streets did not hit the board until the end. The song spread, if you look at the song spread for this show, there's nothing that was played more than 3 times. Most of the albums and unreleased categories were 2 or 1. And this is an interesting dynamic. What I will say overall about the show and what I will say about this part of the tour, as far as this West Coast leg of the tour, what isn't played is equally as good as what isn't played is equally as good as what you were hoping to get for a show like this. And let me just see here. I'm trying to get a link here if we can get Matt here. Here's the link. All right. So Why do I say that? Because we don't have Can't Stop for tonight. Okay? We don't have Can't Stop. There is no Samurai Cop like we were pounded with at the beginning of this tour. Okay? There's no Samurai Cop. Right? We do have a Bayou, but it's early on. Okay? And Hines made a good point in Twitter. He said, hey, it is better at the 3 spot than the 17th or 18th spot or 16th spot towards the end of the main set. It is better. I still would rather have it disappear. I love the ending of that song. I don't like the beginning. But what isn't played is equally as important. Don't Drink the Water. Now, again, I think a lot of fans love Don't Drink the Water. I think it's stale to me. So I'm glad it didn't. What we're gonna do we're gonna bring on Matt. Let me just get everything set up here because I want to get his reaction while we can grab him now. So this is going to be Matt Hughes live from California. Matt, can you hear us?
Second, I'm trying to fix it.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What I could also do, if you want to message me, is it okay if we call you on my phone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Just shoot your number in the Facebook chat, and then I'll call you.
Yep.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Wait.
All right. So we're gonna get him on in just a second. It does sound a little spotty. From 860. So we're gonna get Matt on. He was at the show. He was at the Gorge, and Matt was the person who shared. He literally Facebook, video called me from the Gorge, and I appreciate that. And I was able to see that encore from the Gorge here. So let's see. We're gonna call that. Hello, Matt.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, thank you for joining the stream. Just tell us, what did you think of this show?
That's a great question. I think it was kind of disappointing set-wise for Chula Vista. I think Chula Vista usually has some pretty great sets. And usually some pretty rare stuff. So, I mean, we did get Pay For What You Get, which I feel I certainly am not checking the stats, but I feel like that's pretty rare, and I can't remember the last time I heard it. But, yeah, What You Are into Every Day was a stay closer. No, not what I was hoping for from Chula Vista. But, I mean, they sounded great. It was they were on point. So, I mean, I'm trying not to bash it too much because my buddy's sitting next to me and it's only his second show ever and his first time in the pit. So, I don't want to be too hard on him.
So,
it was awesome.
So what songs were you looking for? What songs were you hoping to get to really take the set up higher in your rankings?
Anything off the big three would have been nice. I mean, we did get some under the table. So, it was a pretty. I'm trying to pull the set up. I feel like it was a very heavy under the table show. For me, it's kind of one, I can't stand She. That's probably one of my least favorite Dave songs ever.
Same.
And I always get it all the time. So you get really burned out on She. And You and Me kind of always kills the set for me or brings it down quite a bit.
I agree. Yep.
And I know you like What You Are, and I don't hate it, but it's I could not hear it tonight, and that would have been fine. But it really did sound it sounded really great. I can't say I'm not impressed. they definitely are playing it top notch, 10 out of 10. Sounded great. Just not my favorite song. Take her to leave it for me. And then they played Jimmy Thing, which just, yeah, What You Are and the Jimmy Thing, not the greatest. So,
Gotcha.
but
So-
then Ants was amazing,
Mhm.
and Pay For What You Get was like a really big highlight for me. But yeah.
Yeah, so just to give you some of the stats, so we had under the table we had Ants, Pay For What You Get, and then we had not Seek Up, Pay For What You Get, Ants, and Jimmy Thing were the under the table. Only one song from Before These Crowded Streets, that was Stay, and then Crash. You had let's see, it would have been Drive In, Drive Out, and then see, yeah, that was the only Crash. So it is interesting that they didn't have the big three. So there was no Stone, no Pig, no Halloween, no, like, even Warehouse and Nancy's, those are missing. No 41, no, like, so I can see what you're saying is like there weren't a lot of songs from those big three albums. It was spread so much across. So you got some rarities. Pay For What You Get, the first since 99 here. Very rarely played at all. You had a rare song in Drunken Soldier, only the third time. I know you were at the Gorge, so you got that there.
They can play that song every show. I'm a rarity. I know a lot of people don't like that song. I love that song.
Okay.
And it's amazing live. So I never complain.
Okay.
I've been lucky enough to catch it 3 times total, I think.
So that's a
always
song
happy.
that really made the set good for you then. Like, as far as one of the high points is Drunken Soldier.
I actually really like Sweet too. And I don't feel like I've heard that one for a really well. I think he played it at Gorge. I'd have to go back and look, but other than that, I think it's been at least 3 or 4 years since I've heard that, and I love that song. I think that song's beautiful.
Yeah.
But Gray Street was also really good. Gray Street. So
yeah, so Sweet hadn't been played since July. Just so and
they did not play it at Gorge.
and as you mentioned, it hadn't been played. Now, if you haven't heard it in a couple years, they did an Extreme Makeover Home Edition on that song. If you notice,
Really?
Buddy's piano at the end of that song, that little ending part with Buddy's piano and Tim on guitar, that didn't exist on the song until last year.
Yeah, the outro is really different. I did notice that. So, but it was good. It was great. It sounded amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Now
I
that
like hearing Dave play a ukulele. What can I say?
yeah, oh no, it's a beautiful song, and then Stefan has the bass uke. It's cool to see that. And so the beginning of the show, you have this squirm. You have the red guitar comes out, the Violette. What were you thinking was going to open the show when you're there in the pit? What do you think was going to open?
Well, first off, they went on like really early. It feels like I would say 20% of the venue wasn't even in there yet.
Wow.
And then we got stuck in a gigantic line for pit bands during Squirm and Where Are You Going and Louisiana Bayou. We got into the pit right before Granny. It was like the slowest pit band line I've ever seen. I don't know what that was about, but I usually go in. I guess I'm just always under the assumption they're going to go on about 10 after 8, somewhere in there. And we were walking up at like, gosh, it had to be 7:45, and they were already playing Squirm.
Wow.
So I don't know what that was like. Really weird to me. I can't even remember the last time I've been to a show and they were on before 8, like in 2 or 3 songs in at that point. They did send an email out that's born 7:30. So I guess they really meant that.
Yeah, you know what? Because you're was the Gorge your first shows this year?
That was my first shows this year.
Okay,
all of those were after 8.
Yeah, that's why, because the openers at the Gorge, because I went last year to the Gorge, the openers for the Gorge are after 8. I mean, because of the openers, the band goes on at 8. For the last 2 years, the band outside of the gorge does go on around 7:45, and a couple of the southern shows, because of curfews, they went on at like 7:25, 7:30.
Wow.
So I think probably because you were in gorge mode, thinking, all right, they go on at 8. They did switch last year. There was a huge shift in the time start. They really was starting to go on earlier. And so that is kind of a recent thing. So I could understand you coming from the gorge, haven't been to shows since the pandemic out, obviously sent, outside of the gorge. It is an adjustment. And it's one of those things where they're trying to end earlier. They're trying to get back to the hotel or get back to the private jet earlier. They're getting older. So I think that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just was caught off guard. I wasn't expecting to walk at. I mean, and I was checking the DMV Hub live set list, and nothing was popping for me. And I was like, we could hear Squirm, and I was like, I don't know if that's actually them or not. And I haven't been to this venue since probably 2016. Okay. So, I'm a little thrown off. I got lost in the parking lot just now, and I'm just really not used to this venue. But okay. I almost thought it was like a recording at one of the booths or something at first, but it was really them. So when we got closer to the stage, we could see the lights, and I'm like, they're actually on. And then the Hub updated. So
yeah, they're behind. That even today, they're on the Sirius, because the Sirius XM stream, when I was messaging you, we're like a whole song behind you, depending on about 3 or 4 minutes behind what you were telling me was happening. So that's probably why the
Hub didn't react when I was laughing at Stay being played. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know yet. There's some people in the chat. They want to know what you thought about Drive In, Drive Out.
Oh, it sounded awesome. Really, really good. I was very impressed. And I heard that at Gorge, and I thought it sounded better than Gorge tonight.
Gotcha.
So
interesting. So it sounds like they're improving. You being at the shows. What was the pit like tonight?
Super duper mellow. My buddy, this was his first time in the pit, and he was like, I just can't get over how nice everyone is. He was just, everybody's just so chill and nice and quiet and calm, and it was a very mellow pit. Definitely a different energy than Gorge, which it's Southern California. It's a completely different demographic and crowd. I also felt like we might have been the youngest people within a 25-foot radius of us. And I don't consider myself young anymore, but there were some older people in there. But it was good. It was a really good pit. And it was not packed. As I was telling you, we got in late, and that I think might be the closest I've ever been to Dave. Except for I actually ran into him on his bike in Gorge, 2016. But stage-wise, while he's playing, I don't think I've ever been that close. I was very close. I did not go in when the gates opened and ran to the rail like a lot of people do.
Gotcha. So yeah, we have a picture here of, it's not you, it's our friend from Colorado, Shane, and talking about the mellow crowd. He goes he goes to at least 10 shows a year, and he has a picture. He's chilling by the pool before the show. This is like 6 hours before the show. He's just living the dream. He's like, everything's so mellow out here. He went to a dispensary, and he's like, he like you said, he said the vibe is so much more laid back than some of the other cities he comes into. And so that's funny you said that the pit was chill, because he's just like, being someone that goes to a lot of weekends, this was definitely a weekend he felt was more relaxed than the other tailgates and everything else. So
I consider it a venue. Well, it and Hollywood Bowl,
mm-hmm.
They're casual fans, the bulk of the crowd, and then there's the people in the pit. They sing to ants, but I consider the SoCal shows are very casual fans. That's their show for possibly the next few years. Mm-hmm. So it's just but everybody's chill. and it's just a very different vibe and type of crowd than other cities that have bigger Dave fan bases.
Gotcha. And that's what I've heard. I've never been to shows in California. I know my dad has been to, on business, he's gone to a lot of different sporting events in Cali, and he says the same thing, like, like an Angels game. It's like compared to going to like a Yankees game or a Braves. I know the Dodgers are crazy, but he just said it's more laid back there. Was there traffic? Because I know that's the other thing too, is people I know out there, when there's events and there's rush hour, was there traffic that may have held fans back from getting in?
Yeah. So I'm based in LA, so I'm used to traffic. But my buddy that went with me tonight, he lives in Corona, which is about 45, 50 miles away from me in LA.
Mhm.
And I drove there, and that took me, I left at 12:30, and that took me over 2 hours to get to him.
Wow.
And then we drove straight to San Diego because we got a hotel in San Diego, and that took us an hour and a half, hour and 45. And I mean, we're talking, I think that might have been 80 or 90 miles. But it's, traffic's pretty SoCal, all the way. It was definitely worse getting out of LA than, I think LA's definitely worse than San Diego in terms of traffic.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
The
So
venue seems pretty light. Side note, they had posters left over at the end of the show, which was crazy, and we ended up buying some. But we didn't expect to get a poster tonight because we showed up so late.
So wow, that's interesting. That's interesting you say this, because in the poster forms, somebody took a picture of this guy with the poster tube, and
Mhm.
I'll send it to you after. He had a whole stack, maybe 20 posters. This is right when the gates opened. And it looks like someone said there was someone, like, they were trying to sneak the pictures to show how heinous it was. Essentially, he had about 20 posters that he got. I don't know how, but it was like a
That's
big
really weird.
controversy because people were like, I want this poster. Like, a lot of people that weren't in California were like, I want this poster.
It's a really cool poster in person. Like, I was shocked when she laid it on the counter. It's super cool. But yeah, I don't know why here in Irvine I always have luck with posters. Like, I show up late and somehow get them. But they said they were sold out, and they found an extra box,
Oh,
and that's why they had them out.
well, I hope people. I mean, I'm gonna check the forums after, but I wonder if people lined up earlier that told it was sold out and probably thought they would never get
Oh,
it.
I'm sure. Because when we
Wow.
walked in, there were the only poster up was that fruit stand tour poster.
Yep.
That was all they had, and I was like, all right, let's go in. And because I got that at Gorge. But when we were walking out, I checked. But they have two merch tents here. I checked the one on the left when you're walking out, and they only had the fruit stand. And then there's another one closer to the exit on the right when you're walking out, and they had both. And there was almost no line too. It was really weird. Really weird.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a whole. That's kind of, so it seems like the pit line, they didn't have that in order. The poster, the merch people lost the whole stack of posters. Hopefully they have better. They do better for you at the Hollywood Bowl, and hopefully for the people up in just south of San Fran, just north of San Jose and Shoreline. Hopefully they have a better crew out there at the venue to get things moving. So
yeah, Hollywood Bowl is gonna be crazy, man. It's a crazy venue.
Yeah, and a historic one. I hope to one day get out there for something from the East Coast. There's so much history there, and I've only seen the pictures, but it looks amazing. So
yeah, I've actually gotten to go to every single Hollywood Bowl show except the Away from the World tour. I think 2012. I was in Illinois at the time, and I didn't get to go.
So
But
you
I've
saw
been to every
Mayer
other
then.
show.
You saw John Mayer in 06
I
or
did
07.
2007.
Oh, 7, yeah.
Yep,
Wow.
that was a hell of a show. That's probably in like my top 5 stage shows.
I was
Night 2.
I was shocked that they didn't release that show and they released the 2018 show when they had that Hollywood Bowl
Yeah.
release.
Yeah, that's that 20. I mean, I was at the 2018 show. It's a cool show, but I think for me that's like, let's release a buddy show. You know, like,
no, that's true. Yeah, and
they're
they had
trying to release as much as they can with him and forget Boyd.
you're right. That's a good point. At that point, they took him off the calendars. He wasn't on any of the pictures for the live tracks, and I think you're right. They were trying to get that, but that I've heard the tape. I know you were there, but I heard the tape to that 07 show. And you have Damian Marley comes in for Exodus. Oh my!
Yeah, Exodus. Yeah, that was dope.
And the two-step
Exodus and 41 with Mayer, and they played A Dream So Real. I'm not looking at the set list, by the way. I just remember the show so vividly.
Right.
A Dream So Real. Only time I ever got to hear that. And then 34, which was dedicated to his wife because it was her birthday.
Right. Yep. The 34 from that show, which I play on this a lot of times when we do a tribute or rest in peace at the end of the show, I use the 34 from that Hollywood Bowl show. So
that was a good one. That was a good one. That was my last show with Leroy too.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
I didn't catch him anymore until he was gone. And the next show I went to was actually Staples, the day he died.
Oh, you were at that show too.
I was at that show too.
Wow.
I was at both Staples shows.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we went to, I think, Chula Vista after was like the same week. Maybe I have to go backwards. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure the next show I went to was Staples, and then Chula Vista was that weekend or something.
Wow, those are some big shows that you've been to out west. I mean, those are pivotal shows.
Yeah, I tend to catch the weird, like, historic show. I've also been to. I was at Central Park.
Oh.
And I went to that 2004 San Francisco show with Santana.
Oh, the Golden Gate Park,
one of the early live tracks. Yeah.
Yeah. That Sugar Will is amazing. Like that.
That's a good Sugar Will. Yeah.
When I first, because I got into the band in like 05, but I remember like I had a mixed CD and I had all these unreleased. This is years after, but I had a mixed CD with all these unreleased songs to try to learn all the unreleased songs. And that Sugar Will from the 04 show is that was like the first or second song on that disc.
Yeah, that's a really good version. My favorite is actually on the stand-up companion disc. I really like that. I like Leroy a lot on that version. So that one's really good too. They're both really good.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's the one. The companion. I gotta find that. I had that on my iTunes because I have that Joyride from there. So it's somewhere in my iTunes. But yeah, that's a great disc as well. So any other final thoughts? Any other things as far as this night, the show, how it was to be there?
It felt short. Felt like a short show. I don't know what the runtime was, but it really breezed by, and I feel like we're playing a lot of everyday songs. Like I don't know. Gorge ending with pretty much everyday only songs, and tonight I just feel like for some reason I just feel What You Are heavy and a lot of just everyday tracks.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, it's different. It's something different. So I try to avoid looking at the tour that's until Gorge because I don't want to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And because they often don't play the same thing at the beginning of the tour that they play at the end, and I don't want to know what I missed.
Right.
Because I always back into the tour.
Right. That's true on the West Coast. And I will say every day, that album, it fits this band the best. Just like you were saying with the Buddy release, the What You Are, Fool to Think, What You Got at the Gorge, So Right, What You Got at the Gorge. Those songs don't need a violin.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah,
order
but
to,
I don't think they could do Mother Father.
yeah,
I
well that
don't think
song,
that one would sound
yeah,
very
that
good.
song will probably never ever ever be played again.
I've heard it. I heard
Oh,
it
you
in
caught it?
2001. They
Wow.
played it at Soldier Field 2001. I heard it. That show, okay, well, this is how far Every Day has come. And I'm not going to consume your whole show here, but I remember going to Soldier Field in 2001.
Yeah.
And the people sitting by us complaining that all they were playing was everyday songs. They're like, man, I don't want to hear nothing but everyday songs. And they left 3/4 of the way through the show because of the set.
Wow.
Like, did not come back, said, have a good night, we're going to head out. Because of Everyday. And now people love everyday songs. It's kind of weird to me. Like, it's not my favorite album. I could take it or leave it. There's stuff on there that I really like, but it's not a group of songs I'm desperate to hear by any means. I do agree, though, it does sound really good with the current lineup. So.
I think though they had so much. They went from having these road tested songs and these songs that were so long and nuanced to then writing with Ballard, and literally like they made the album in like a week. And it was full of radio hits at the time. These were songs crafted to be hits. They literally, Boyd said in one of the like behind the scenes videos, he's like, we wanted hits. So when you go from having the big 3 albums, they didn't miss on those, and then you have the 2000 unreleased songs, and then the Lily White Sessions leak, and then you get every day a bunch of what are pop songs. I can understand why the fan base was upset. What me personally, as someone who wasn't into D&B at that time, but went back and started listening, what I like about the everyday stuff is like What You Are has an intensity. It has lyrics that are very, if you really study the lyrics and the intensity, it really has aged well. Fool to Think is very prog rock like and has this awesomeness to it that I would rather them play Fool to Think than a Big Whiskey song, because it's just because with Fool to Think it still feels D&B. It doesn't feel like it's a rock band or someone like D&B trying to be a rock band. Fool to Think has that feeling that it's D&B.
Well, that's Leroy. That's the
right.
The arrangement.
Right. And If I Had It All, same thing. Like we played last show, Arizona. We played that If I Had It All from 2007 with the Holding Back the Years like outro. If I Had It All, even though it's kind of meant to be a radio song, there's just depth to that song and intensity to that song and ups and downs to that song that I've appreciated over the years. Again, being someone who was in 2001, I was listening to like Linkin Park and Jay-Z and Eminem. Like I wasn't listening to D&B, but I just have enjoyed some of those songs. Not every, I hate Every Day. I'm not a fan of Every Day. I like 36. I don't like is it the Space Between on that? Like the space between, that's no. But I do think
I think that's gotten really good live though. It wasn't that tour, that 2001 tour, that was like the weakest live song to me of the group. Like it just didn't have the punch that it did in the studio. I think it's a lot better now. But I will tell you this, I am completely fine with them playing anything off that album as long as they don't play I Did It and Angel. Just leave those out of it. You can play whatever you want off the album. I don't care. Just leave those songs off the set, please.
I was gonna say you had to suffer through those 2001 Angels if you went to Soldier Field. Those.
Yeah, I did. I almost fell asleep, man. Angel is it. They played the hell out of that song during that tour, and even like I feel like they played it a lot in 2002 and even 2003, and that became the ultimate bathroom break song.
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this is gonna be like 13 minutes. I got time to go get a beer. I can get some food. I can go pee. Like that was that. Them never bringing that song back. Like I would be completely fine never hearing it again live. I just no Angel, please.
Yeah, 34 times. 34 times in that 2001 tour. Did you go to both Soldier Field shows?
I went to both. I went to the Pig show. Yeah.
They played it both nights. Wow, I'm looking at this.
That sounds about right.
So people get mad when they repeat like in two different, like a Tuesday and Friday. They get mad when they repeat like Jimmy thing. But I can't imagine getting Angel back to back
2 days
nights.
in a row, man. Yeah. That's what like and people got burned out on it. And I feel like they were like the Lovely Ladies. I caught them on that song. Like I just no more Angel, please.
Yeah.
But I also, a lot of people really love Louisiana Bayou now, and I remember when that song came out, they played it every single show. Like I think that might be in my top songs after this was my 63rd show. And I swear I've heard Louisiana Bayou so many times. And I don't mind the song, but like it's just I've heard it too much. And when that like 2006 to 2008, I mean, it was just you were lucky if you did not get Louisiana Bayou at that time. But I mean, people really like that song, so
I don't. I actually I like the outro, but I can't stand Bayou. And I only when they just brought it back in 2018, and I've gotten it too much now. But I don't like the verses. I just think the verses just are they're not, to me, they're not my cup of tea. And I just the whole vibe of it is just I'd rather hit the skip button on Bayou. But the outro is amazing. That when Buddy's strong and they have like that's to me what it should just be Louisiana Bayou outro.
Well, it's a really good song for a key player. Like I know why they brought it back because now they've got Buddy in the band,
Right?
And it's like, well, you don't have Robert Randolph, but you got Buddy. He can do it. It's a really good song for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds great live, but like, there's so much other stuff I'd rather hear, even off of stand up. That like, I seriously, I think I've heard it 18 times. Not joking. Like, I'll have to look, but it's close to 20. I know that.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of Louisiana Bayou.
Yeah. Hey, well, thank you so much. And listen, your stories are awesome. I love hearing your stories about some of these, critical points in the band from 01 to 07 to 08. We appreciate you giving your perspective. And again, we wish you safe travels back to LA. I know you're staying over there tonight, and then we hope you enjoy the Hollywood Bowl shows.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. You have a good one. Take care.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. So that was Matt Hughes, and we thank him for being on there. And I love his perspective again about those days in 01, 07, the West Coast. And he makes a good point. He makes a good point about, oh, Angie's on. Good to see you, Angie. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, Shane and Angie. Angie, we just here. I'm gonna put this back up. We had your husband, the picture here. This was a cool picture because we were talking about how laid back everything is in Southern California. We love this here, just sitting back, and no humidity, perfect weather, San Diego area. As far as Chula Vista. So we had this picture up. But really cool that you guys had a great time at the show. Oh, Shane, there he is, my hi dad right there. Hello from an Uber heading home. We hope the Cali plants are treating you better than the Colorado plants. We hope you're enjoying that. Um, what was I gonna say? So I think the biggest thing about this show, and this is where Matt was coming from again, and you guys could see some of his perspective. He's been to a lot of big shows out west. I know some people are like, "Oh, how does he not like this show?" Like, if you hear him walk through, and this is what happens with me, he's walking through. Okay, at the end of this show, Jimmy thing, what you are isn't his favorite, which I've heard from a lot of people. You and Me isn't his favorite, but he thought Pay for What You Get was special. Ants Marching was on point. We went back to the beginning of the show. And he said, listen, Drive In, Drive Out was great. Sweet was great. Drunken Soldier was great. Seek Up, he messaged me and said he enjoyed Seek Up as one of them. So I think one of the things is the shows that, to me, the shows out west have been very unique, right? Shane and Angie were in Colorado. I don't like, now you could have predicted certain songs or certain runs in that show, those shows in Colorado, but I don't think anyone could have like really spotted or predicted what they were gonna play. Like what people thought they were gonna play versus what they played. They're doing some different things in this part of the tour. Now, again, if you go to every single West Coast show, you're gonna see, right? We got 3 Drunken Soldiers since Gorge. Right, we've gotten the riff been played, I believe, 3 times as of yesterday. You are seeing certain things stick around. We get a Pay for What You Get the first in 10 shows, and the first one since West Palm Beach. But these sets, I don't know how to explain it, but these sets are just different. And I love Squirm. I think the only thing, to me, I would have taken out Where Were You Going and put Granny at number 2. I would have, and you could even swap them. I would have put Where You Going at number 4 and put Granny at number 2, because Where Are You Going would have been a nice break in between Bayou and Drive In, Drive Out. But I think what I'm finding about this part of the tour, there's a lot of songs, there's not a lot of stuff that I don't like in a row. Like You and Me isn't my favorite song, but you have What You Are in the Ocean and the Butterfly sandwiching it. She is not a song I like, but Seek Up and Fool in the Rain are in between it. Louisiana Bayou is not really a song I like, but Granny and Where Are You Going are in between. Although Where Are You Going, that may be one spot where there's 2 songs I'm like, I think Where Are You Going sounded great tonight. The sax part and all that, like, it sounded great. I think that the songs I liked the least were sandwiched though. And there's not having Can't Stop, not having Samurai Cop. To me, there's just, that makes the show better. And to me, from Granny, Drive In, Drive Out, Sweet, Gray Street, Drunken Soldier, Madman's Eyes to Seek Up, that is a run. From 4 to 10, that is a run. Like I love that run. I would be enjoying my life from Granny to Seek Up. And I thought the Seek Up was good. I thought the Seek Up was good. There didn't seem to be that intro. Like sometimes the shouting match between Jeff and Rashawn can be annoying. Sometimes they do it well. Tonight I thought they did it well. I thought they did a good job there. For Drunken Soldier, I want to say Dave kind of adjusted the lyrics of the I think he kind of missed the timing of one of the Don't Waste Time trying to be something you're not. I have to listen back to it, but I think he like kind of phrased it different. Like it was the same lyrics, but he had to kind of rush it or do it differently for just one of the runs around. So that was a little interesting. I love the piano. To me, the piano on the Sirius XM Friday, and let me know, Angie and Shane, did it feel like the piano was turned up in Colorado and Chula Vista? Do you feel like compared to the stuff we went to at Deer Creek and SPAC, do you feel like Buddy's keys were turned up? Because I thought I felt like I felt like Buddy's keys were much more. Yeah, Shane says way up. Okay, so he says way up. Um, so yeah, like I thought his keys were just, and I like that. I like the keys. To me, the keys will never. Now I know some people don't like the synthesizer, and it's hit or miss for me. But the piano being turned up will never be an issue for me, especially because of pianos like Buddy, like whether it's a real piano, like a grand piano, or it's a like a keyboard. But that piano sound just complements Dave. It's always, to me, what did I say? My favorite satellite is Live Tracks 31 because you have Butch's keys make it special. His keys are turned up just a little bit more and it makes all the difference. Um, Buddy is growing into this band. It's a learning curve, and the same thing. I don't want to get into the violin debate, but the same thing would happen with the violin player. You're gonna have a learning curve of 3 to 4 years for a fiddle player at the bare minimum. Buddy, it's taken him about 3 years, 19, 21, like three, or no, it took him about three tours, 18, 19, and 21. Last year, Buddy really I felt that confidence. And it's hard. It's not easy playing. It's challenging. And this year he's just no matter what he does, he's got it down. So I love the keys being turned up. I felt Rashawn didn't really squeal during this show. He had even during Jimmy thing, his squeals were not loud. Yeah, what you are tonight. To me, what you are is just to, and I get it. I understand some people it's not like other people Halloween is bigger or there's other epic songs. Don't drink the water. People like it better. To me, what you are, this is where it's a fine line because I talk about don't drink the water, what I don't like about it. And don't drink the water and what you are have that same type of dark feeling, right? They have that same type of dark epic buildup for the intro. But Don't Drink the Water to me is a song. I know it's played more, but I don't like the Tim C.D.C. version of it, even though he's been turned down a little more. But What You Are, I love Tim. Here, this is what I said. Don't Drink the Water intro, bathroom break. What You Are intro, pure joy and preparation to go crazy. Like I just love the vibe of What You Are compared to Don't Drink the Water. And these are both songs that will really turn a set list around for the overall crowd. Don't Drink the Water and What You Are. Don't Drink Art will turn a crowd over more. But to me, when I hear that Don't Drink the Water intro, if I have to go to the bathroom, I will go because I know it's going to be long enough for me to go most times. And I'm just not a fan of Don't Drink sped up and louder. But What You Are is a song that just, again, I love the energy of it. Um, it's a song where that electric guitar, it was made for. That's the thing is, Don't Drink the Water. If you the studio version of that, the 1998 version, even with Tim was in that fall tour. Don't Drink the Water has that banjo and that acoustic guitar, and it was slow and we're coming slow but speeding, right? To steal 41 lyrics. It's just slow, like, the wagon wheels are turning into us taking the land. What You Are is a song that was made. It has that electric guitar, that baritone guitar, and that feeling of a rock feel naturally from how it was created. It's more organic. And I just love the space in the chorus when you hear the what is it? There's so much space for Stefan to breathe on What You Are. There's just so much space. And I love that versus Don't Drink the Water, you have the horns blasting in and you have all this like Tim playing the harmonics. He didn't do that back in 98, and I thought it was better. But I just love the space. What You Are feels like just a nice. It just is. There's something about just the open space in that thing, right? And it's great. Like, cause I love, you know what it is. It's like the let me make sure this isn't too. I just got new guitar strings. Like I love that. That's the backdrop. It's that, and it's really it's Stefan's bass, right? My guitar's out of tune. I'm gonna save you guys. Save your eardrums from someone that's playing out of tune guitar. Shane says this. Odd vibe from the start, unorganized getting in, late crowd arrival. Set list was awesome, but it felt like it took half the show for the crowd to get fully engaged. That is, I think, the pros and cons of going to a Southern California show. Interesting to hear that. Yeah, I'm not surprised. We heard from Matt. Shane, if you guys are just joining us, we had Matt Hughes on. He was talking about that crowd being late, the wristbands. So Shane and Angie were 5 rows from, we'll show you where they were. Put it on from Twitter. They were 5 rows from the pit. So they kind of, this is where they were. So Shane, we had Matt on, and Matt said the pit line took forever for him to get in. And Matt only went to the Gorge. Matt, since the pandemic, has only really been to the Gorge. He's been to over 60 shows. But our first guest was at the Gorge. So he's like, oh, maybe they'll get on at 8 o'clock. But anyone who's been going to shows for the last 2 years outside of the Gorge, they've been coming on at 7:45, 7:30 for like Charleston. They were on at 7:30. So Matt kind of was like thinking, okay, I'm going to prepare to get here for 8, get to the pit for 8. And, they started around 7:45. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Our Hoosier fan. I think is that good to see you. That's Chris. Yeah, Chris. I got to match up the names. Yeah. Chris, who was on for Phoenix. And listen, Chris, we loved having you on for Phoenix. You gave us some great perspective on that show. And you guys out in Phoenix are still on Pacific time until like November 6th is when we fall back. Arizona doesn't practice daylight savings time. So while everyone has moved forward an hour, you're still where you are. And then in November 6th, Arizona will be with the mountain time zone with Shane. Pit was so big, never looked full, plenty of dancing room. And to me, now I say this, and listen, maybe if I was there, I would think, hey, the vibe's different. To me, I like crowds that are more laid back. Now, SPAC is a different thing. Like, obviously, SPAC is just, that's a crowd. I go there for the, like, oh, Shane, you're going to San Fran too? Wow. So he's going to go up to Shoreline for tomorrow. Shane's going to be, yeah. And that's the thing is, if you're going in between shows, I believe this has to be now, I could be wrong. I believe this may be one of the longest gaps for a Friday, Saturday type run. We've had a couple of little lengthy, like Hartford to DC was a little bit of a hike, but they are going to the Bay Area. They're going to be south of Shoreline is south of San Francisco and north of San Jose. So Shane is going to be at SFO, flying into SFO at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Then going there. So safe travels. But I guess the pros and cons of a laid back show, right? You can enjoy the show if this crowd is laid back. Typically, you're not going to have some drunk person ruining the show or talking during the show. That's, to me, sometimes I love that. Oh, and Chris is going to be in Hollywood. That's awesome. Chris is going to be in Hollywood Sunday morning for the Hollywood Bowl shows, which are midweek. And with Hollywood, beggars can't be choosers. I'm sure they just had to book what they could. Hollywood Bowl says, here's our open dates. Here you go. So safe travels, Chris, going from Arizona to Cali. And I'm sure you'll get about 5 to 10 degrees off your thermometer or thermostat, because Southern California can be hot this time of year. Was it last 2 weekends ago? San Diego State had like record highs for their football game, which has no shade because it's San Diego. It's not humid or hot or oppressively hot. Usually it's like, anyway, I'm saying all that to say that you'll get a little bit of a cool down. But what I'll say is, I prefer shows where people are more laid back. I'd rather have a pit with more space. I'm all about space. I loved some of the shows during 2021 where there were social distance crowds. I loved it. I loved it because, listen, sometimes I don't mind a great spat crowd, again, where it's sold out, but I like my space. I love my space. I love an aisle seat. I love being right behind the soundboard, right? Where you have a little more space. Although, again, the trade-off is sometimes for the highest parts of the show, that crowd's not into it. So Hines always says, show us the data. Hines is so lazy. He's like, hey, prove, show us the data. You find the data, Hines. You find the data. Okay? This is a live show at 2:56 in the morning. I got all the answers. I have no answers. Where is the data? Oh man. That's a song right there. But yeah, so I think there's trade-offs when you go laid back. Sometimes there's a little bit of there's pros and cons to it. So there's let's see. Let me try to tune this for you guys. I know I said I wasn't gonna. This time of year, the guitars get out of tune because of the hot and cold temperature swings. It was like 40 this morning, and then it got up to 75. Where is the data? All right. Where is the data that Hines is looking for my points? I told him this is a live show, and I don't have a stat guy at 2:58 in the morning for the East Coast time. East Coast time. I am the Superman. I have the answers buried somewhere in my notes. I am gonna get off shortly, but a parody song is what parody song is what I wanna do. Where is the data? Find me the stats. Are you searching for answers to prove that you and me is absolute trash? I'm trying to tell you, I am no Superman. I have no answers at 3 a.m. in the morning. I am no Hero Hines, but I know. All right, let me stop. There you guys go. There's your music off the cuff. I haven't played that song in ages. All right, there's your Anyway, all right. I mean, listen. What else is there? I think. What else is there to talk about? The last time Where You Going was played in the 2 spot. Actually, well, here, I'll just because you're such a loyal supporter, I will look that up right now. The last time Where You Going, shout out to Ants Marching in the Tour Centro feature, which allows you to seamlessly look up these things. The search engine from antsmarching.org. So we'll go, Where Are You Going? And the 2 slots, search. So the last time was Dave and Tim 4/7/2017. The last full band was 11/5/2015. So the last 2 Where You Going 2 spots. Actually, hey, Hines, I'm actually give you credit. I'm going to give you credit because this is going to give us something. This is giving me something here that maybe this is something they do for laid back shows. Let's go. Let's do this here. So we're going to do this. Where Are You Going? Ooh, excuse me. Last played Dave and Tim 4/7. And we'll do full band. Last time they played the full band version of this was 11/5/15. 11/5/15. So let me remember that 11/5/15. 11/5/15. Then 11/5/15 Paris. So we have Italy and Paris. I will do France. Okay. This may actually excuse my language. Hines was right. No, it's kidding. Not right. But what this brings up, what this does bring up is the last. Oh no, I'm wrong. This is wrong. 2 spot. Last played. It was played in Mexico. It was played in Mexico too. So let's look at this. Okay, it'll still somewhat remain. Mexico. Last 3 plays for tonight. Avonton, Mexico, full band 11/5. Okay. So this is still, we have an international vibe going on. Let me just edit this stat. So where are you going at the two strap last three? Times before tonight. All right, here we go. So this is, oh, that's the wrong one. Where are you going the last three times? Okay. The last three times that we had where are you going at this spot? Dave and Tim. Okay. 2/16/2020, right before the pandemic. Oh, where were we going then? We were staying at home, right? We were staying at home. Except Hollywood movies. Somehow they closed the restaurants, and then somehow Hollywood could still, right next to the closed restaurants in California that they couldn't open, the Hollywood set had all platters of food. But all right, let me stop. But that was silly. That was silly. Yeah, SiriusXM, $9.99 a month for the streaming package. If you get the streaming package on the app, you get this for $9.99. You get this for $9.99. You can negotiate it down as well. But so yeah, look at that. The last three times have been outside of the United States. I'm live. Yeah, this is a live stream. It is 3:05 a.m., 3:06 a.m. Eastern. This is yeah, Richard, great set list. We talked about that, and you can check the replay out or rewind back. You'll be able to check out what we thought. So 2/16/2020, that's a Dave and Tim setup, laid back. The next time in Italy, Dave and Tim 2017 in April, and then November 5th, 2015 in Paris. So we talked about how laid back this crowd was. It arrived late. There was some pit issues. The pit was never full, but the pit wristband thing was a doozy. So because of that, it kind of almost, maybe this was a mistake. Maybe it was on purpose, because Dave, one thing you can say about Dave, he intentionally makes set lists for the audience, right? He intentionally makes set lists for the crowd he's playing in front of. In Paris and in Italy and all these European tour stops that they've done over the years, Dave and Tim and full band, the crowd literally will sit down. Now, there's been some shows, Lisbon, Portugal had a rowdy crowd. And Portugal's known, I don't know, the Portuguese speaking countries, Brazil and Portugal, like, they're known for their great soccer crowds and their music crowds. The music festivals in Brazil is always lit. But outside of a couple of shows, like in Portugal, in that was 07, I believe, with Tom, that was one. I think that was one of the live tracks. But most of the European shows, the crowd sits down, they're laid back, they'll clap after the songs, but they don't really do anything during the songs as far as the European fans. American fans over there may dance a little bit. I've heard and talked to American fans who go over across the pond, and sometimes they feel it's weird because they want to stand up and dance, and everyone wants to sit down in the balcony or even in the pit. It's not as, or the closer seats, because they don't always have pits, but the closer seats people also are more laid back. So it's interesting that they do Where Are You Going at the second spot, and this crowd was laid back. Um, I think they know from doing this venue so many times. Very interesting, just very interesting to me that we found that. So Hines ended up being made a good point. That it was, listen, it's a laid back show. The last three times they've been more casual shows. To Dave and Tim. Mexico people are definitely on their drinks, but it's still not like a full band rap. Like, it's not a full band show. And then the other time in 17, Dave and Tim, 15 full band in Paris. So very cool stuff. Shout out to Ants Marching again for being able to allow us to use that data that they have. I did point out some stuff here as far as let's see some of my notes during the show that I posted. This was interesting. The second pay for what you get in Chula Vista. Last one was $7,799. During that tour, there was only 4 of them. This tour, this was the fourth. Oh, that's really so they played 4 total pay for what you get in the summer of '99. This is the 4th pay for what you get of the tour in the summer of 2022. As summer ends in a couple days, but we're still in summer and we're still in the summer tour technically. So anyway, I digress. So yeah, last one was so that's pretty interesting that this venue, which has hot and cold feelings, right? It's the 17th show at this venue. But if we look at the venue history, this venue has had hot and cold. Last show in 2016. They didn't play in 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. They didn't play in 01. So they've had a history, but in recent history, they haven't had as many shows. Last time they were here, Boyd Tinsley was still part of the band. So just very interesting to see that. But let's see what Richard says. He had Stone as the opener. The Stone has gone missing on the West Coast. It was played at the Gorge last year where I went, but it was not played at the Gorge this year. No Bartender. Bartender has been, this entire tour, it hasn't been played that much. What, twice? Was it SPAC in Toronto? Off the top of my head, SPAC in Toronto. I think those are the only 2. Maybe there was one more. Let's look at the summary of the tour songs. Oh, 3. What was the third one? Let's see. Bartender. Oh, they played it in was that? I know I was at 7-9. They played it in Camden. So Toronto, SPAC, Camden. Okay. So Toronto, SPAC, Camden. 3 plays. Which they played Shotgun. A lot of people now. I was watching Rab as the band was coming on. He went live a little before that, but he stayed on for the first part of the Squirm. And I was like, oh, is it going to be Shotgun? You come out with that red guitar, but it was Squirm, which is still unique song. Mercy, which they played Mercy. Mercy in Europe of 20, I think that was 2019. Whenever they played Mercy in Europe, it was extremely got improved. But the Mercies in 2012 and 13 were absolute trash. They were hot garbage. The end of that song in 2012 and 13, the 15 or 14-minute versions was trash. But I will say that the last one in Europe was amazing. Dreams of Our Fathers, I really don't need to hear that song. Beach Ball, I love. But Dreams of Our Fathers, I just... Bruh. It's not a bad song, but it's like it's a waste of a rarity coming back. I mean, actually never been played. It's never been played live, except Boyd has played it with his I think the Way Back or one of his people. No, it wasn't the Way Back. It was someone he was playing with the other couple years ago. But yeah, that's the show for tonight. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Warehouse confirmations come out. We'll talk more about that tomorrow night. I do want to get some sleep. Got some stuff to do tomorrow morning, this morning in a couple hours. So want to get some sleep. Thank you guys for the support. Let's see. What are we gonna put you out on? How are we gonna take it away here? Let's see. What can I? Oh, well, we'll do O. We'll do O. All right, we'll do O. Nice little fun tune, fun Dave solo tune. Shout out to Andy Mendoza, who I'm grabbing these songs from. This awesome Gorge Night 2. Search YouTube Andy Andy Mendoza Mendoza, and you will find his channel. Support it, hit the like button. He has supported my channel. He's been on my streams from the Gorge weekend. He was incredibly kind to come on and give his perspective after a whole night of taping and really giving people this awesome video footage that we have. We'll talk tour confirmation. I had a little video. Check out my Instagram. You can see my video about some warehouse things and seniority. New album still not out. What I will say real quickly is Tyler, shout out to Tyler Hensley on Twitter. He did mention, there's some people that want this new album out. One thing I didn't realize until Tyler brought it up, a lot of the new songs, I love the live versions of them. And as someone who runs to a lot of the studio album versions of stuff, I'm not like dying for a Madman's Eye studio recording. I will take it. I look forward to it at some point. But the new songs that have come out this year, I mean, in 2021, 2020, 2020, they were live streamed in 2020, 2021, 2022. They were played. Madman's Eyes, Only Things, Ocean and the Butterfly, all that stuff. I'm not like, oh, I need a studio version of this song. Like I needed a Virginia in the Rain studio version, which was amazing, amazing. Virginia in the Rain studio is amazing. What's interesting about these new songs in 2021, 2022, I love Walk Around the Moon full band. The Sirius XM streams, again, on the app, when I go running and I'm listening to the version of Walk Around the Moon from Sirius XM, I'm good with it. I'm good with that version. Listen to it in the car. I hope that if they do have an album, my most important thing is that the new album is good. That's what I'll say. But anyway, not to tease a little album talk at the end, but I'm not as needy for these songs to be in the studio like previous work that the band has done, where I'm like, yo, I can't wait for the studio version of it. So anyway, that's how I feel. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. If you're watching the replay, still hit the like button. You like this video, it helps my exposure for this to get to more DMB fans. Many people have dropped on and added on because this video came up in their feed in the last 6 months alone. I would not have made it to 100,000. I mean, not 100,000. 1,000 followers this year without y'all hitting the like button. So continue to hit the like button. This gets this stuff in the page, and then we get more guests, we get more interaction. If I'm out in Cali, I can get 2 or 3 more people, because if your people are watching this stream and next time they're in Chula Vista, they'll be like, hey, I want to call in Concert Viz 34. So hit the like button to get this thing spread up. Richard is on his way from Tennessee, from Rochester. Safe travels. Finally, we will play that'll be the show. Gotta go. It's your boy Concert Viz 34. Have a wonderful night.
The world is blowing up. The world is caving in. The world has lost her way again. But you are here with me. Yeah, you are here with me. It makes it okay. I hear you still talk to me as if you're sitting in that dusty chair. Makes the hours much easier to bear. I know despite the years alone, I'll always listen to you sing your sweet song. And if it's all the same to you, I love you oh so well. Like a kid loves candy and fresh snow. Love you oh so well. Like to fill up heaven overflow, fill hell. Love you oh so well. When it's cold and darkness falls, as if you're in the next room, so alive. I could swear I hear you singing to me. I love you oh so well, like a kid loves candy and fresh snow. I love you oh so well, to fill up heaven, overflow and fill hell. The world is blown up, the world is caving in, the world has lost her way again, but you are here with me, yeah you are here with me, makes it okay. Oh girl, you're singing to me still, I love you oh so well. Kid loves candy and fresh snow. Love you oh so well. Love to fill up heaven, overflow and fill hell.